Yes, hello and welcome to a brand new show right here on the Kop TV. It's called Top of the Kops. Don't know if you get the reference. No, okay, all good. It's actually a reference to a very famous music show, Top of the Pops. But listen, it's great to have you all here today as we get stuck into some more fresh content on the Kop TV. A lot to come on today's show. We've got a comprehensive football roundup. I've got a new feature, which is the matchday mixer. Really looking forward to that. A classic Would You Rather, which is a LFC versus Arsenal to get us in the mood for the guest that we have today. And of course, we've got Top of the Kops. Now, this is the #1 moment of the week, much like Top of the Pops. Starting to get it now, aren't you? That's all to come and to be discussed with my guest today, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm liking the fact that you're staying busy during lockdown. I'm liking that you're on top of everything. One of the hardest workers in the YouTube game, Mr. Robbie. So thank you very much for joining us today.
A lot of hard work. You'd have thought, like, with a lockdown, it'd be easier, but it's not. It's actually, we've done so much more. So, it's been hard work, but it's good, man. It's good to be working. So,
absolutely. Listen,
looking forward to games actually coming back, and instead of talking about things that ain't actually happened, you know what I mean? So,
oh mate, the amount of Premier League years, and I mean the videos, the vaults, the archives that I've trawled through during this time, I'm just dying for some football.
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing is, right? The funny thing is, I've not really done a lot of watching back old stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not one for that. I'm not one for like watching back loads of old nostalgic stuff. I've watched a few things, like at the start of the lockdown, I watched a couple of old things, but I don't know. I'm a person, I like to look ahead. So, yeah, I've not really trawled that far back.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you doing some very different content, let's say, from the bully beef recipe, cooking, and also you did a sound clash recently with the one and only Troops from AFTV.
Yeah.
Who won that sound clash, Robbie? I need to know.
Man, come on.
The crucial Robbie came through. Wiped away.
Yeah. That was light work, man.
Yeah, that's just experience in the game. I mean, you're a sound clash system man, so
yeah. That was good though. It was a lot of fun, man. And Troops he's crazy. He's a character, you know what I mean? So it was really good.
Yeah, no, looking forward to seeing that actually. Going back and watching that. Quick thing to get into just before we start our comprehensive football roundup. This post was just sent around by all Liverpool players, which I think was a great choice. Simply says, Black Lives Matter, unity is strength. So hopefully we can see a lot more of these tweets and Instagrams coming out of the top Premier League clubs. So great to see during such a crazy time. Right, so the football roundup. So, sorry?
Just got to say, that's brilliant. I like the fact that Liverpool have done that. Yesterday, you saw Jadon Sancho reveal that message on his shirt. There was Thuram who went down on one knee. And I think, it's really resonated across the world what happened to George Floyd. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh. And, when is this sort of stuff going to end? You know what I mean? It happens a lot in America, but not just America. It happens in other places. It's happened here as well. Not as bad as that. But yeah, we've got to get this sort of, we've got to call it out for what it is, and it's good to see that people are calling it out for what it is, so well done to the Liverpool players for doing that. Respect for that.
Absolutely. I think everyone needs to understand is the first thing, I think, and then after that, you can look at how people kind of go deeper into society and change things. But as long as we all understand that this is the wrong thing, and simple message is that Black Lives Matter, unity is strength. We'll leave it at that for today. But listen, the football roundup. So as we all know, Robbie, when this all curtailed the football season, I remember you standing out the Etihad, a very empty Etihad, which it kind of is most of the time. And you're about to play them. So one of the things that we learned is actually if Arsenal can go to City and even get a point, I mean, a point would be great, but if you can go there and win, it means that you do Liverpool a huge favour and you actually would allow us to win the league in our first game back against, who have we got? Against Everton. Potentially might still be at Goodison Park. They're talking about this neutral venue being scrapped as an idea. But I have to say, mate, if I was to ask you for one favour, it would be go to Etihad and get a result for us. Come on, Rob.
Well, we would, number one, we could do with a result because, you know, obviously our target is to try somehow and get into the top four. In 9th at the moment. But if we was to win that game in hand, we'd only be a couple of points off Man United in 5th. So it's a big game for us. It's a difficult game to start off with. But, you know, hopefully we can get the win. And I'd love to return the favour to Liverpool because you done us a big favour last season by beating Tottenham in the Champions League final. That had they won it, we would So I think we owe you a favour. We owe you a big favour after that. So I mean, Liverpool are going to win it. And I've always been like, you heard, you know, you remember when you came on my show, and I've always been on like, let's try and get the season back so Liverpool can win it on the pitch. I didn't like this idea of like what they've done in France and Belgium and Holland, where they just hand things to people and they haven't won it yet. Yeah. Even though Liverpool were that far ahead, I thought to myself that if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't want it that way. You want to win it on the pitch. So to win it on the pitch would be fantastic. You guys deserve it. You know, look how far ahead you are. You've been by far the best team. But for us, we got to look out for ourselves right now, and we need to get some sort of result against Manchester City, if possible, to see if we can get into the top four this season.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the top four is. I mean, let's be fair, Rob. You're 9th at the minute. I think a few points behind United. But I mean, what if you don't get the Champions League, Robbie? Do you want Europa League, or would you rather genuinely just finish outside those spaces as well? Because you've seen, I mean, if there's two clubs that know how damaging the Europa League can be on the league season in terms of always playing games on Sunday, it's definitely us two clubs. I mean, we haven't played in it for a couple of years, to be fair, but it always was the case whenever we played in the Europa League. Sometimes you just want to finish outside it instead of not getting it.
I don't particularly care if we're not in the Europa League, I'll be honest with you. You know, remember when Chelsea won the league? They weren't in Europe. You know, when they won it a few years ago. When Leicester won the league, they weren't in Europe. And it helped them a lot because, you know, they were able to go into every game week after week fresh. So it wouldn't bother me. However, getting into the Champions League would be great. Yeah. And we've still got a chance of getting into the Champions League. And if you look at some of what's been going on in Germany as well, like where you can see behind closed doors, home advantage doesn't really mean a lot.
Yeah.
When I look at the games that we've got left, you know, we've got a couple of difficult games in there, like the Man City game. Obviously, we've got you guys, but who knows what sort of Liverpool might have a party. Liverpool coming down to play, so they've won the league already, and they might.
Like that.
Well, I'm thinking that like Liverpool, they might have probably more than likely won the league already.
Yeah.
And if you're Jurgen Klopp, you might be saying to yourself, "Well, why run my players into the ground when the season's going to start again in September? The players have already been off for quite a while. Let me just use them sparingly." I'm hoping that might be the case. We've got Wolves, we've got Leicester, but they're winnable. You know, the Liverpool one's obviously difficult. City. I think the rest of the games we can win. So we've got to try and go for that 4th place. And remember, 5th place could actually get you into the Champions League because City might have that ban. So there's a lot for Arsenal to still play for. But you're right. I don't really fancy the Europa League, man. Europa League behind closed doors. Bloody hell.
I mean, is there anything worse? No, but I mean, listen, in terms of you know, how things are going to pan out this season, the Champions League's still coming back. They're looking to finish that with August the 1st final, I think. There's obviously the Champions League places that need to get wrapped up, like you say. But there's also, for Arsenal anyway, there's a chance of silverware. You've got Sheffield United in the FA Cup.
Yep.
I mean, Arsenal are the record holders of the FA Cup 13 times, is it?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So listen, it would be great, and it would be something to look forward to if you can get a semi-final and then a final appearance. I mean, the FA Cup is actually a way to get into the Europa League. I mean, what happens, Robbie, if you finish 7th or 8th? You win the FA Cup, you've missed the Europa League from the league, but you get it from the FA Cup.
Yeah. That Europa League, man. I mean, You know, I mean, I suppose. Listen, the reality of it is that Europa League is better than nothing because it is still a pathway into the Champions League. So it is like an insurance policy. Well, not exactly an insurance policy. So it's quite difficult to win, but there's so many games. But it's better to be in it. I'm just talking really purely from a fan's point of view. You know what I mean? It's a very long competition. I think it's actually the worst competition that's ever been put together. And the reason why I say that
headline from this show now: Europa League worst competition ever. Robbie says.
No, it is because I've never known of any competition in any sport where a team that finishes third in another league in the Champions League can then drop down into the Europa League and be competing to win it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It makes the competition a mockery in my view, right? And I until they change that, but it's a competition that's just built on money. That's why we was sent to Baku last year for the final. You know what I mean? It's all about money, that Europa League, and you know that's why there's so many games, and that's why they let teams drop out of the Europa into Champions League. I mean, how can it be that a team drops out of the Champions League, can drop into the Europa League, like what Atletico Madrid did,
and then win
it, and then back in the Champions League, where you have a team now that finished above them in the group stages, but then gets knocked out in the knockout stages? How can that be? It is the worst competition out there. It really is.
Do you know what? We lost the final in 2016 to Sevilla, and I completely agree with you, Rob. It's it's a hard competition to win, though, because, like you said, you go into a lot of places that really, I mean, Baku, for example, where the final was. I mean, no one really knows it as a footballing place, but yeah, I completely agree that the rule about, you know, coming third in a Champions League group gets you into the Europa League. In that case, you'd rather come fourth, wouldn't you? I guess, and just
of course. And then the thing is about that competition as well is that you play a lot of games and you play against a lot of sort of smaller teams, and the attitude of sometimes of the fans anyway is like, oh, we're playing Rennes. Like I remember we played Rennes last year, playing Rennes, right? But then when you get over to Rennes, they're right up for it. It's like a cup. It's like the biggest game in the history of their club. So all of their fans are up for it. Their players are up for it. You know what I mean? So it's quite difficult for the team. You know what I mean? Because you come up against teams that they're always up for it.
Teams like you remember Angie? Can't remember what they were called. They've got a very long title. Again, Russia. Who wants to go out to Russia and play on a Thursday night? But then, like you say, their fans are bang up for it, and they make it a really difficult.
Bang up for it. You know, like I saw the Europa. You know, I've been to so many of the Europa League places, and they are bang up for those games. Yeah. And you know, like as I said, Rennes was the example. I've never seen one of the most hostile atmospheres ever that I've been to. It was brilliant. Their fans were brilliant. But I remember, like when we went there, we weren't really. We was just like, oh, Rennes, never heard of it. Well, you know what I mean? Went there, and you know, Arsenal got a shock on that day because they were so up for it. I mean, we come back to the Emirates and beat them, but they were so up for it. And that's what I'm saying. You know, it's like you play a lot of games. It's like the FA Cup final. You're playing against teams that are. This is their biggest game in history. A lot of them, and you are that scalp. You know, so it's a lot more difficult to win than people think. And then after you've done all that hard work, bang, in drops a Atletico Madrid or somebody like that to, you know, so I don't rate that competition. It really is a bit of a joke.
Yeah, we've got some comments in. Thanks a lot for these guys. Keep them coming in. Kieran B, if Arsenal try their best towards the end of the season, they might break into the top 8. You're in my world now, Robbie. You got to deal with some of these, like I did on your channel. Kieran also says he hates it when Liverpool played in the Europa League. Better off not in it for me. Better chance at the league the following season. Stephen O'Connor, Leicester have more stability under Rodgers. He's got them doing well. And he's replying to Kieran's comment, which said Leicester did well in the league this year of no European football. That's a great point because 2013-14, when Liverpool should have won the league, not in Europe. We had a season outside of the top 7 the season before. So we didn't qualify for anything. Look how much that helped us that season. So yeah, some great comments coming in. Keep them coming. In terms of the return, Robbie, I mean, you and we're outside stadiums every week with the Kop TV and Arsenal Fan TV, speaking to the fans. I mean, what's your plan for when the games come back? Because I guess we can't be outside the stadiums, but I mean, where are you going to watch the game? What's the proposed plan?
Yeah, we've got a plan. I can't really go into it right now because it's kind of confidential at the moment. But we do have a plan. But it's not. We won't be at the stadium. We won't be at the stadium. So that I can say, if people think we're going to rock up at the stadium, and we wouldn't do that. That'd be irresponsible. But we do have a plan.
Okay.
I can't really say a bit more about it because it's kind of under wraps plan at the moment.
Okay.
We have a plan for how we're going to do it.
Okay, well, listen, we're all looking forward to seeing how that goes. Trust me, a lot of non-Arsenal fans, I guess, will be tuned in for that as well, depending on how the result goes. Yeah, I mean, the schedule for match days that they've talked about, Robbie. I mean, on some Saturdays, you're looking at a 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock kickoff. I mean, there's going to be some arguments about who's got the remote control at the weekends.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just not going to leave the sofa for like 10 hours straight.
I don't know, behind closed doors. I think, listen, you're obviously your own teams and the big games. You're going to be really invested in those games. Not sure if you watch all of them though. Maybe.
I'm watching every single game. Every live game that I can watch is getting played. Yeah,
I think I'll probably watch most of them. I mean,
if Brighton Huddersfield came on now,
I'd watch
it that way. No, but yes, listen, we're all looking forward to it coming back. And I mean, in terms of the Kop TV, I mean, we're going to be doing online fan cams on StreamYard or Zoom, so they're going to be different because, I mean, like you, Robbie, I really get the most out of my fans when I'm talking, not my fans, but Liverpool's fans, when I'm talking to them face to face, and I can really feel the emotion and the happiness and sometimes frustration for Liverpool in the last few games anyway, after the game outside the stadium. So it's definitely going to be different, but who knows, it could make it even better. But AM Robbie thinks Arsenal are bigger than Liverpool. I'm going to have to defend Robbie here, because Robbie never actually said they're bigger than Liverpool. What he did say was we're on level. Now, that's where there was a couple comments in Robbie's show, and he knows it as well. Robbie's a top bloke, very likeable. Big ups to Kieran B. Stephen says, nice one, Alex. Happy days. A football feast. Can't beat it. That's what I'm all about. Football feasts. Get in my belly. Right, now listen. A new feature, of course, this is a new show, but we've got a new feature on called Matchday Mixer. So, of course, we can't go to matches like we were just saying. So we thought we'd bring the best of the matchday experiences to you. So we want to find out what type of matchday goer you are. So as we all know, music, fashion, food, drink are all part of football culture. So before the show, I asked Robbie to give me his Matchday Mixer. Now, this is a jacket, a pair of trainers, the music that you listen to on the day, a drink, and some food as well. Very important things on a match day. So Robbie's gone with a Canada Goose jacket.
Yeah,
so
I know.
You got a picture of that there.
Hey!
I mean, this is you wearing the Canada Goose anyway. I knew that you like this jacket because I've seen you outside all the stadiums in it. It's a very expensive one as well, Rob. So
jacket, right?
Congratulations for buying that.
That's the essential part. It keeps me so warm, mate. I think that picture was taken when we went to play in the Ukraine.
Yeah, you need it out there.
You ain't gonna get colder than there, mate. I'll tell you, that game. It was minus 18.
Wow,
minus 18, man, and that jacket kept me warm. That is my first line of defense. That jacket. And I noticed you didn't have Canada Goose on the list, man. I was like,
what? I actually just added it on because I was like, I knew you were going to say Canada Goose. And then when I asked you, you said I quickly had to add it on. But yeah, Canada Goose, I mean, that type of jacket, when you're standing there on the terraces, Robbie, freezing, it's definitely the one. In terms of the trainers that you're going to wear to the match day with that Canada Goose, you've gone for a classic option there.
Air Force Ones, man, that's a classic. Although I don't always wear the white ones, right? Because people come stepping on them.
Right? You've got to get the crease protector as well.
So I got black ones, I've got a green one, I've got, I mean, but yeah, I do like Air Force One. I do like classic trainers.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute staple that. I did mention there that you need the crease protector. So a lot of guys who wear Air Force and other popular trainers, when there's when you start walking and that crease happens, nothing works. So there are crease protectors that you can get out there. So that's good. So in terms of your music, gave you a long list of music to choose from. Beanie Man was your choice.
Beanie Man, big up Beanie Man, you know. Big up. I like my reggae, man.
Absolutely. I get in your Sound Clash with Troops, did he?
Yeah.
There you go. So he's definitely gonna. I was listening to Girls Damn Sugar earlier. Big fan of Beanie.
Yeah, big tune, man. Big tune. Beanie Man's a great artist. Been around for a long time.
Absolutely, one of the real Don Dadas of the scene.
Yeah, man.
And now, in terms of a drink, you've gone for what I thought you'd go for, Rob.
Lager.
Just a pint of lager.
Pint of lager, man. Although, you know what? I don't really drink much before a game.
Yeah.
I used to like go to the pub before a game, and I'm like, I don't do that no more because I'm like, I've got so much work to do. You know, I've got so much work to do, like after the game, especially. I'm like, you know what I mean? I can't afford to be lean up, you know what I mean? So I don't really tend to drink a lot no more at games because I don't go before the game, and normally after the game we're so busy that by the time we're done it's very difficult to get down to the pub. So but yeah, if I do, pint of lager, man, can't go wrong.
Pint of lager. You know what,
no shorts or nothing at a football game, man.
Absolutely. Do you know what, Rob? I think since I've started doing the Kop TV, like yourself, my match day experience has changed massively. So before watch the game in the pub with the lads or be at the game itself having a drink, nowtimes, boy, as soon as I hit 75 minutes, it's work mode and I'm outside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't do it. And then like if I go sometimes to the pub before a game, there's so many people want to buy me a drink, which is so nice. It's so nice, but you know, I can't get away. It's very hard to get away with just buying one drink. People be like, "Yeah, come on, Robbie, have one on me." You know, I'm like, you know, so I try to. I kind of have to nowadays really pace that. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to be done after.
I love that though. People are urging to buy you drinks. That's when you know you're. It's levels. It's levels when man want to pay. Big up to that. They're just throwing their drinks on me at this stage. In terms
of, sometimes as well.
Well, yeah, depending on the score. But in terms of your meal, so for me personally, whenever I go to Anfield, I'm all about the scouse pie, which is a meat and kind of potato stew, which is famous in Liverpool. It's called scouse. So that's my pick. But Robbie, man like Robbie, has gone, ladies and gentlemen, for a vegan burger. Let's know in the comments right now what you think of this choice. I mean, I gave you a big list of food there, Rob. You got to admit, there was every type of food on there. Yeah. And this one in particular, it looks like it's a mushroom vegan burger. So you actually stopped eating meat a month ago during lockdown, Robbie. Yeah. How comes you've gone for a vegan burger?
Because there's no meat in it.
Silly question, really. But what was
out of your list, that was the only thing that didn't have any meat.
True. There was also a vegetarian burger option, so we're looking after everyone.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but yeah, at the moment, like for the past month, I haven't eaten any meat, and I've sort of switched up my diet now. I sort of do like what they call a plant-based diet.
Yep, love that.
So you can still eat meat in a plant-based diet, but not. You just restrict it down to a very low amount. But I haven't actually eaten any meat since I've been doing this, and I've been enjoying it, and it's been good.
Is that the bully beef video? You cut out the meat after your own cooking?
No. When I did that video, I was still eating meat.
Yeah.
I can't eat bully beef now. I've kind of got into this vegan type diet. You know what I mean? And I've been enjoying it because to be honest, I haven't gone in it as a vegan, but I haven't been eating dairy products either. I haven't been drinking milk. I don't really drink a lot of milk anyway, but I haven't really drunk any milk. I haven't been eating no eggs. And and I haven't eaten any meat. And I've actually really enjoyed it. And you know, it's I read a book, and it just was this book was all about the how good health how you can improve your health by eating without eating meat, and the book was all fact based. And after reading that book, I was like, wow, I'm going to give it a try, and it's been brilliant.
Yeah, big up all the vegans, man. My sister is a vegan. She's been for about a year now, and you kind of pick up a few of their habits if you live with the person, you know. So like I've stopped drinking. Like I just drink oat milk now, or almond milk.
Yeah, that's
and I've noticed a lot of differences. So absolutely, don't knock it until you tried it. We like to have.
You know what? I mean, the thing is about it, right? I used to slate people.
I used to
take the piss out of people for being vegan and vegetarian, and now, you know, I've had to apologize to all of them, and they've all been taking the mick out of me. Yeah, didn't you used to say Robbie, right? I was going, yeah, I did, but I read this book, man, and I was like, wow, like the amount of things, the benefits of eating a plant-based diet.
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm going to give this a try, and I have to say, it's been superb. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm
not sure that there are still some foods that I love. Like I still like a jerk chicken and things like that. So I don't know, maybe, you know, because as I said, what I've done, I haven't gone strictly vegan. I've gone plant-based. So when you're on a plant-based diet, you can eat the odd meat dish. So I might. But at the moment, I've got no desire to eat any meat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is, and I hope it works out for you. Listen, don't knock vegan until you've tried it. I say that, I'm having a curry after, but there are some nights where I don't eat meat. So anyway, moving on. So, Robbie, in terms of your match day mix, Robbie, you're going to the game in a Canada Goose, pair of Air Force, listening to Beanie Man, drinking a pint and having a veggie burger. So that is your match day mixer. Let's get into some comments. Reem says, vegan burger, I thought you would bring jerk chicken. You just mentioned there that you're a big jerk chicken fan.
You might have to break the rule there. You could have a jerk, what do they call it? A jerk, what's that thing? Courgette or something.
Yeah. Aubergine, courgette there.
Aubergine, that's it,
yeah. Tahir saying, Robbie won the sound clash with troops. Stephen saying, question for Robbie, what do Arsenal need to get themselves up there challenging again, and how much would you have to spend? I mean, how long have we got? That's a pretty big question.
I mean, one of the things we need to do is a bit like what Liverpool did. Liverpool fixed the defence by getting Virgil van Dijk. I think if Arsenal brought in a real top quality centre back, like a Koulibaly, I mean, you know, we won't, but somebody like that, you know, that's what we need.
Yeah,
we need to fix the spine of the team. We've got some good players. We've got some very good players, but we always fall down with the spine of the team. And you know, we need to get that spine sorted and have a couple of winners in there.
Yeah, 100%. I've always said you could look at someone like a Decore, someone holding down the midfield, and someone you might miss the boat maybe.
Decent as well.
Very good player.
Played very well against you guys, didn't he?
Yeah, had a great game, to be fair. Kieran B says, I'm on a seafood diet. I seafood and eat it. Very good. Raim also says, keep going, Alex. A nice show. After this, I'm looking forward to Claude and Robbie. So there you go. Reem's watching you all night. So moving on. This is what I've been looking forward to getting into, guys. Please send in your match day mixers. What type of fan are you? But moving on to would you rather. So now this is a classic, right? And I want all the Arsenal fans watching to really get stuck in, and the Liverpool fans too get stuck in too. So dream midfield scenarios here. So we've got a partnership of Vieira and Alonso, Gerrard and Fabregas, Ramsey and Mascherano. Now, Robbie, straight off the bat, in terms of your dream midfield partnership, which pairing out of those do you take? Very tough question that is, though. And you might have to think about this one as well. I mean, if you were to mix those two up and create the perfect, for me, it would be Vieira and Gerrard. But I
was actually going to say that Vieira and a fit Gerrard.
No one's running past that midfield. No way.
So Vieira and a fit Gerrard with some decent football boots with studs in them.
Right? How is Robbie saying that on my first show of Top of the Kop?
But yeah, I think that would be the perfect partnership.
But if we had to pick one of these three, Vieira, Alonso, Gerrard. I mean, Gerrard and Fabregas. That's not bad at all.
No, but I'd then go Fabregas and Mascherano, because you've got Mascherano could hold, and then you've got Fabregas who could create in there. So that would be a good midfield as well.
If you had to pick a pairing for here, though, to slot into the Arsenal team or Liverpool,
it would be Gerrard and Vieira.
But out of these three, you have to pick out. So the pairings are
the pairing that you've already selected.
Yeah. So sorry. So it's Vieira, Alonso, Gerrard, Fabregas, Ramsey, and Mascherano. You've got to pick one of the three.
Vieira, Alonso.
That's a good shout. I mean,
Vieira's got to be in there.
Vieira's the bully that will get up and down the pitch and just knock everyone out in the way, and Alonso is the one that will hold and ping them balls around.
You can ping the balls around and create. You know, you got to have an invincible in there, haven't you?
Listen, Robbie is still holding on to that, so we'll give him that. That's
all we got, man. That's
the only thing you've got.
Hold on to it.
All you've got. And so Kieran says he says probably Vieira and Alonso for him. I mean, that is some partnership either way. Alonso and Vieira. He also says Gerrard and Cesc a close second. If we talk about Ramsey and Mascherano, I mean, Ramsey is a goal-scoring midfielder. Mascherano is a sitting midfielder who's, for a lot of his career, played at centre-back. I mean, if you're talking about balance from goals and defence, you could argue that Ramsey and Mascherano there have got the best balance.
Nah.
No?
No. I'd still say that midfield would be a very tough midfield. You know, Vieira and Alonso, I think that would be a top midfield. You know, Ramsey was again always injured though. That was the only problem. I always rated Mascherano as a great holding midfielder, but I think Vieira was a better all-round holding midfielder. So yeah, I'd have to stick with that pairing. Although they're all good pairings. All good pairings, definitely.
I mean, for me, I'm split between. I'm firm now. I'm Alonso and Vieira. That's it. Decided. Let us know in the comments who you guys would choose. I mean, this is obviously a hypothetical question. These players, some of them have retired now. But Kieran says, I thought Cesc was an exceptional young midfielder in the Prem. Best young midfielder he's seen at 19, very composed, mature head. I was watching highlights from 04-05, and there's a game where we come to to Highbury, as it was, and a young Fabregas scores. Arsenal win 3-1. And you know what? At that time, I think he was wearing a bit of a higher squad number than the 4. He might have been in the 30s or something. And when a player is wearing such a high squad number, you think, okay, well, that's because he's coming into the team and he's young and he's going to get a better squad number, which he did in the end. He was number 4. But what I'd have to say is, I don't know about the best young midfielder I've seen in the Premier League, but he was unbelievable from when he was
hit the ground. As soon as he came in, he just hit the ground running. He was so talented, always wanted the ball, was always demanding the ball.
Always going for it, yeah.
Yeah, for a player at that age, you know, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and has gone on to do such great things. Is there a part of you though, Rob, that thinks when he went to Chelsea, I mean, there was talks of him coming back to Arsenal. Apparently, a contract wasn't offered. But what do you say to fans that get on to Fabregas about being at Chelsea? I mean, he's openly come out and said, if Arsenal wanted me, they could have got me.
Yeah, listen, you can't blame him, right? Because we had that clause where we could have bought him back, and we didn't. And, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are professional footballers, and they got careers to think about. And if I would have been in his shoes and Chelsea came in for me, I would have went as well. You know, I mean, you can't blame him for that. The ones like Van Persie I'm different with him.
That's different.
He engineered to get away to go to Man United. But in the case of Cesc Fabregas, he didn't leave Arsenal to go to Chelsea. He left Arsenal to go to Barcelona. Then, as I said, when he came back, we had that option to buy him back, and we didn't take it. It was a big mistake. A lot of Arsenal fans at the time was like, yeah, bring him back. He'd be great. And I thought to myself at the time, I couldn't believe when we didn't. I mean, it was another huge mistake by Arsene Wenger, because I was like, just him being around the dressing room alone, he knows Arsenal, he loves the club, he's going to give it everything. And I was shocked when he let him go. And, you know, went to Chelsea and won the league.
What can you say? Like, what can you say?
You can't argue with that, you know. You can't argue with that.
No, not at all. Stephen here says his dream pairing would be Gerrard and Fabregas out of the three. That's if we're talking about Cesc at his peak, which I would say 2000 and 11. I'd say his peak was Fabregas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, he's had a great career. He's had a great career right throughout his career. He's played well, so. He had a bit of a. He started off all right at Barcelona, had a bit of a dip, but in that Barcelona team, it's very difficult to make it. You never get your natural position that you want to play and stuff like that. But he's been a great Premier League player.
Absolutely, been around for some time as well. That's your would you rather for this week. Let us know in the comments still who you'd prefer out of that three. So now moving on to a new feature, Top of the Kops. Now, if you don't know, get to know that Top of the Kops is based on Top of the Pops, which of course is a very popular music show. So what we're going to do is count down to the number one of the week, just like Top of the Pops. So then the lads are back training at Melwood, which is a great sign to see. In the thumbnail picture, we've got Firmino, who just looks like a different person with long curly hair. He's back at training, which is great. Some other great news this week, Abdi Sharif. So he got injured for the academy in Liverpool, and he's called Abdi Sharif. So he actually was out for a year. Sorry?
Oh, he's an actor.
Yeah, well, who knows, maybe one day in the future. But he's actually, so he was injured for a year, and as a goodwill gesture, Liverpool came and extended his contract for another year. So I really like that about the club. But the winner this week, and I know this might seem a bit big-headed, but I was actually on BBC One on Saturday on Football Focus representing the Kop TV. And there wasn't really anything else going on this week. So that is this week's Top of the Kops. Let's see it.
Even if Liverpool do have their open top bus parade, or even if they don't, it's still going to be gold because we'll get to see Jamie Carragher trolling Gary Neville, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear that conversation. I guess it would sound something
bit like this, talk about successes on the season. Manchester United, Gary Neville in particular, big failure, really. You failed to grow a moustache, or failed miserably with Valencia. Big failure, really. With no one wants to grow up and be a Gary Neville. You want to grow up and be a Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's failed in the nightclubs, in the restaurant industry. So, seems a success is the season. You'd have to say Liverpool are there or thereabouts. So, no, it is.
Popcorn as well.
It is what it is. It's what it is.
Oh, God.
Good impression.
I'm never going to live that down. I got so much hate for that when it came out. But Kieran says, haha, it's on point. So as long as Kieran says that, it's all good. Listen, we're just going to take a couple more questions from you guys before we finish today's Top of the Kop. So get them in now. Reem says, hi, Alex. Who has to go from the Liverpool squad after this season, and what would you like to achieve next season? Great question. Who has to go? I can give you them names off the bat. Lovren, Adrian, Lallana's got to go now. I'd almost say Shaqiri in that list as well. But of course, what we have to remember, this is now no longer a normal transfer window. We can't just move like we would move without COVID. So listen, whatever we did think we were going to be able to achieve in the transfer window, we've got to be a lot more realistic now. It's going to be harder to sell players as well. This is what people don't forget. Not many people are going to want to give you a 4-year or 5-year contract right now because of the cash flow injection issues. So listen, I'd personally like to get rid of those players, but can we bring 4 players in? I don't know. And does that mean that we have to keep them on for another year? I don't know. What would I like to achieve next season? So in the last 2 seasons, we've won the Champions League, the World Club Cup, Robbie's to stick around, and also the Super Cup and probably the Premier League. So next season, let's win the Premier League and the Champions League. Why not? Let us know in the comments what you think we can do next season.
It's going to be tougher next year, man.
100%.
As good as Liverpool have been this year, I think the rest of the Premier League, especially the normal big boys, have been very poor. Very poor. Man United have been very poor. So have we. Yeah. So have Chelsea. I don't think that's going to happen 2 years in a row. I think it's going to be, City have been poor as well. They've been very poor. Lost a lot of games. So I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for Liverpool next season.
Tahir with the absolute golden question: can we sell Lovren to Arsenal?
No, you keep Lovren.
Actually, the question should be, Robbie, do you want Lovren at Arsenal?
No thanks. We got enough poor defenders as it is without bringing in another one.
Oh God, Kieran says
you had Lovren and you had Karius, and you fixed that. And look at the difference. And we got to do. That's how we need to be looking at it in a similar way, you know. So.
Absolutely. Kieran says City will be back next year. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite scared for that to happen. He's only worried about City. Yeah. S says Robbie is bottling the sound clash with DT.
DT. So on the night after I beat Troops, DT was calling me out. As I said to him, you know, I don't do pop music.
I bet he didn't like it when he said that. Do you know what? Who I'd be interested in seeing you have a sound clash with, though, is Flex, because I know Flex is a music man. He's a DJ man.
Yeah, Flex is a DJ, but Flex will tell you as well, right? Flex has known me for a long time, right? I used to DJ as well. Listen, bring them all, man.
Put some respect on Robbie's name, for God's sake.
Put respect on it, man. I might have left it for a long time now, but I still know my music.
Listen, I was with you one time quite recently, and you were telling me all the places you went touring when you were in the music game.
Yeah, I appeared on Reggae Sunsplash, German Sunsplash. I used to tour around a lot of places, man. I know my music, right? I know my music. I've met a lot of artists in all different genres. So, you know,
real sound system, man.
I know we did it. We didn't just talk about it. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
Those guys need to behave themselves, man.
Yeah, until Troops going around the world, he just needs to allow it. Getting rid of Lacazette will be so sad. Times for Troops, they need to keep him and Oba. That's a good shout. I mean, I can see one of them going. I can't see both going.
I don't think Lacazette will go. Definitely will stay. I'd be shocked if he went, but I can't see him leaving this season. And if we can tie Aubameyang down, there's rumours that today they have offered him a deal now.
Yeah.
If we can tie him down, you know, those are the best two players. So we need to be keeping those guys. We have got Martinelli coming up as well. Up front, we still look pretty exciting, even though we didn't play as well as we should have up front. I think a lot of that was down to Unai Emery every minute changing. He done some crazy things that I just couldn't understand. But up front, we're good up front. I think, obviously, our big problem is defence and our midfield as well, which has normally been a strength of Arsenal over the years. Has been very poor this year. Our midfield has only scored 2 goals this year.
Wow.
Which is not good enough.
2 points for the 2 scorers?
Well, do you want me to give them to you?
Yeah.
Well, you want to guess them? You guess them.
I'll guess them. 2 goal scorers in the Premier League from your
2
midfield.
goal scorers in the Premier League from our midfield. Who would they be?
Torreira was one because he scored at Anfield.
Sorry?
Torreira.
Yeah.
He scored a consolation at Anfield when you come and get that yearly slumping. And I think I'm gonna chuck in. Has Willock scored in the Premier League this season?
Nope. It was Ozil.
Oh.
Willock scored in the League Cup. He scored against you guys as well, didn't he?
Oh, that was, by the way.
He scored in the League Cup. He scored in the Europa League, but he hasn't scored in the Premier League.
Ozil and Torreira.
Yeah, those 2, 1 goal each.
I mean, I saw there was a question earlier up in the show, Rob, saying if you were to take someone from the Liverpool midfield to drop them into Arsenal's midfield, who would that be? I'd be interested to know.
I think Fabinho.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, I as you've heard me saying, it's about strengthening the spine, and the spine of the team is just not being good enough. So, if I took somebody from the midfield, it'd probably be Fabinho.
Yeah, I mean, talks of, Fabinho, for me, we signed him the day after the Champions League loss against Real Madrid. And for me, he's come in this, especially last season when he broke through, but this season he's really cemented himself as one of the top 5 CDMs in Europe.
When you signed him, I was like, that's, you know, I've been looking at him for a while. He was at Monaco, and I was like,
Monaco, yeah. Won the league with Monaco.
Yeah, we should sign him. And I was like, so.
Can you name any other players that we've signed maybe over the years that you've gone, why have Arsenal not signed him? Or why didn't we get in there before?
Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Van Dijk, so you know, I always do these transfer shows.
Yeah.
I've been doing them for years, and when Van Dijk was at Celtic, I was like, Arsenal should get him. Arsenal should get him. Arsenal should get him. Right throughout that summer, we didn't. He ended up going to Southampton. You know, it wasn't no big secret that this guy was you know, I was shocked that nobody went in for him apart from Southampton when he was at Celtic. And then when he's at Southampton now, I'm like, Van Dijk, he'd be perfect for Arsenal. So it would have to be 100% him. And, you know, that's been the big failings of Arsene Wenger. You know what I mean? He's just, for some reason, he didn't want to sign that type of
marquee player.
I don't understand. And if you look over the years, we've always had, I mean, when he bought Sol Campbell to me was very similar to what you see with Van Dijk. They play in a very similar way, Sol Campbell in his prime, you know? So I didn't understand why he didn't look at Van Dijk and think, well, he's very similar to how Sol Campbell used to play.
Yeah.
You know, very commanding leadership qualities. You know, I didn't get what he was on. Just sort of.
Do you know what? I couldn't agree with you more. I think the biggest thing, the mistake that he made was, if you signed Luis Suarez that summer when you bid 40 million plus £1, as Tahir mentions here, I mean, you genuinely you would have won the league that year. If you came with a serious bid, if you even made it 42 million.
Well, the thing is, right, is that the thing is about that whole thing is that Arsenal could still have got it done even with the 40 million and £1. That's what they're saying, because they hadn't actually done anything wrong. They had hit the release clause. It's just like Liverpool came back all aggressive and said, "Oh, you know,
what are they smoking over there?"
Yeah, and we just backed off.
Yeah.
Now, what Arsenal should have done is they should have, because Suarez wanted to come, is what I've been told.
Yeah, no, he did.
We should have just went, well, no, so what? We'll show you what we're smoking over here. We wanted. We didn't, and that's one of the problems over the years in the transfer market. We've kind of changed our team that does transfers now, and they are a lot more aggressive. But we used to have our transfer guys were very weak. If they went in to get a player and they thought the fees of the agent was too high, they backed out. If they weren't strictly right, like what Liverpool came back aggressive, they'd just be like, okay, keep him then. Yeah, I mean, whereas they should have just went aggressive and got Suarez. I'm not sure if we would have won the league though, because again, our defense still needed sorting out. That's been the Achilles heel, has been the defending over the years. You know, we score 3 goals, you're still not sure if you're going to win with Arsenal.
Oh, welcome to the Brendan Rodgers era of Liverpool.
Yeah, well, we've had that for a long time. But I'm just thinking now that, you know, they have got like a new team that's come in and has been buying players. And the last transfer window, I was quite happy with what they did under the circumstances. Some of the signings haven't quite worked out yet. But I think, you know, I look at Pepe, I think he'll come good. Tierney's been literally injured the whole season. Yeah. But I still have a lot of hope for him. Martinelli's been an absolutely outstanding signing. David Luiz was poor at first, but he's actually played, I'd say he's been our best defender under Arteta.
Yeah.
You know, Guendouzi's been a good signing as well. So they are starting to make better signings, but the defence, I mean, everybody's sort of waiting to see what Saliba's going to be like. We bought him last season, but we sent him back for a season loan. That was the only way we could get him. It's going to be interesting to see what he's like. But he's only young, so
yeah, absolutely young player.
It looks like they're kind of heading in the right direction with transfers, although they still ain't got the right amount of money that, you know, I would have seen them spending. But
yeah, I think you're right there about maybe Arsenal not being strong enough in the boardroom in terms of the negotiations. I think. I could list a few players that were literally that close from joining Arsenal.
Yeah, a lot of players were that close. And what it is, our guys who, they'd be like, instead of when going all in, they'd back out. They'd be like, oh, well, this is proving difficult. And that's not how you get the top players. To get the top players, it is difficult. You know, so you may have to go in the trenches to get that player. Like. That's what they should have done with Suarez.
Exactly. And I think maybe for the big clubs in particular, once every 2-3 years, you do have to slap a 75 mil down just to buy the best to be up there.
These clubs know you're coming. They know you're coming. So,
exactly. And they know how much money you've got as well.
Yeah.
That's it. But listen, Robbie, thank you so much for coming on the very first episode of Top of the Kops. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Be back next time when we are joined by another guest. We might even have 2 guests next time. But yeah, Top of the Kops is going to be a new weekly show right here on the Kop TV. So subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss a show. And like always, you never walk alone. Take care.